Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day.
Yeah. Where'd I leave off? So left off with wiring up the hot wire kit for the fuel pump for the elco. So that's all wired up, and then I started ripping out all that, all the fuse box and relay box and fuse panel or block. So cleaning up all that mess there. I know the bed's still a mess, but you guys saw it before, all the wires and stuff in the floorboard. Eventually those will be probably wire loomed. These ones mostly, I guess just these three will be running towards the back. All that's Terminator X stuff over there, so that'll be cleaned up too. I just left Tractor Supply, got some more quick solder connect. So these help out a lot when doing wiring. So what I'm going to plan on doing today, get started on just rewiring some stuff, and probably messing around up under the dash too, clean up some wiring under here and remove the battery's not hooked up, so it's not going to do the little chirp from the alarm and everything. But I might climb up under the dash and start ripping out all the alarm stuff, and then just match everything back up and use the connectors to rewire it, so that way the alarm's not chirping. Probably throw something back on it, but this one I'll probably just take all that stuff out for now and have it so when every time I step on the brake, it's not chirping the alarm. So we'll do that. We'll get this mounted up somewhere, which actually that's not a bad spot where it is now. Forgot I just left it in here, so figure out a spot for that. And while I'm at it, might as well brace this up or find the screws for it. So we can mount this into place, and then that means I'll bring the battery back up under the hood versus it just floating around in the smuggler's box. But yeah, that's the plan. Probably still go with the toggle switches, so we'll still have those, and then that might not make too much sense, but I'll go over it briefly. I did it in the last video when I was wiring up the hot wire kit, but pretty much just going to be using this. I think it was about 20-30 bucks off Amazon. Comes with a few different relays. I won't use one. I'll use probably 6, 4, and 2 for now. That'll just be fan 1, fan 2, and the light bar. So both fans, and it's a truck, so you gotta have a light bar in there. Just a thin light bar that I have tucked away behind the grill. But like I said, let's go over this real quick. With the relays, they're kind of labeled backwards. 87s on this side, 85s on that side, and vice versa. I'm not going to take it off, but I kind of just have it marked for the wires I need. The red ones, they'll go directly to the battery or a 12-volt source, but I'll throw these directly to the battery. So that means I might mount them pretty close here, extend them a little bit maybe. Those will go to the battery. The ground would obviously be the ground, so that'll be a chassis ground. And then the only ones I really have to wire up to the fans and the light bar would be blue, yellow, and white. So I kind of went through and determined which ones went where as far as the relays go. So the blue goes to the 87A, the white goes to 86, yellow goes to 87, and obviously black and red. So the blue will be the switch, so those will go to here. The white will be the trigger, so that will go to the things like on the Terminator X, you have the gray and yellow and the gray and red wire. Those are the trigger wires for the fans. So those will go to white. Forget how I have them wired up to the toggle switch for the light bar, but I'll figure that out. And then the yellow will go to the power source for the fans and everything. So we'll get all that wired up, and hopefully all that's pretty straightforward. Before doing that, like I said, I'm going to relocate everything back up here. So that means I'm going to want a good ground for the battery and then the accessories. So I know right now I just have these bolted on. What I'm going to do is pretty much the same thing I've done on the rear of the elco, and then the rear of the Monty, and then I have some under the hood of the Monty is weld on studs for grounds. So I'll show you guys those here in a second. Still got to finish these up. I know. Able to pop it now. But yeah, I'll go grounds that I've welded on to here so far. So I have a ground welded up here. Just take a bolt and weld it on there. I believe I have one on this side too. It's gonna be tough to see, but it's right in between there, so it's tough to see. But I have two welded on, one for each side, just to have grounds like I need. And then, like I said, if you look under here where I have the fans and the light bar grounded to, it's just a nut and a bolt through the frame. So if it comes loose or something, you'll lose that ground. I think I went over that before. And then I have another nut right here, just welded or bolted into the frame, and that's grounding the block to the frame. And then that's also where the negative battery cable is. So I weld one on this side, one on the other side, and I'll use stuff like, I'll keep this engine ground here. It's probably grounded right here, and it wouldn't make sense to, well, no, because the relay box is going to be on the other side. So that engine ground will be here, and then the battery ground will be on this side, along with the accessory grounds. They'll be on this side also, along with, I believe I have another engine ground. I should have one. I don't think I do. But might add another one to this side. I think I have one sitting around. But yeah, once I get all the wired up, I'll come up under here, take this plate out, and get access to all those wires and try to remove the brain from the alarm and just connect everything back together. So it's not a whole lot, but we're gonna make it work. I know I've been talking way too long. Just trying to brief you guys on as much as I can, but it's pretty much just match everything up. I'll probably get some tape and label everything. Probably reuse some of this wire. I didn't get more from the store. I figured there's plenty left over here. So the only thing I might have to run to the store to get are ring terminals for the grounds, because I don't think I have any of those. I might have some floating around, and then try to find. I don't have a bunch of bolts. I don't think I have enough nuts to go on to them, so I had to pick those up also. Well, speaking of ring terminals, have one there. Have some small ones floating around there, but we'll make it happen. Ring terminals, and then the ends for the terminals for the battery cables. I'm gonna have to shorten all those because right now they're running from pretty much the engine bay all the way to the smuggler's box, so I don't need that much once I relocate it back up under the hood. But give you guys a look at it now, and then things are going to change the look once the battery gets back up here. Eventually get a new AC delete plate with the actual firewall pass through, and probably later in the fall I'll probably pull the motor and transmission out, clean up the whole engine bay, and then put everything back in. But let me stop talking and get to work. Alright, so pretty sure you just saw me take all this tape off. Got the wires separated, so now I can determine these are light bar, fan 2, fan 1, which those really don't matter, just as long as I hook them up right. I did notice one of these, I think it was that fan 1, that was cut, so it's not that one. It's one of these wires down here. It wasn't even attached, so I don't know how that was getting ground. But that's why we're about to fix it. So yeah, what was I saying? So got all those separated, which this should be the easy part for the most part. Originally was thinking about putting the fuse box over there, but that would have all the wires pretty much running towards the inside of the car when I still need a couple of them to come back to the battery. So what I'm thinking is, because most of them will come up to the battery or the fans and the light bar, I just run them on this side, and that way get that mounted probably right around there, and have all the wires just tucked back behind here, and then run around this side, and obviously I'll just connect to the fan and everything, and then run the positive to the battery, and then the negative will be to the chassis ground. So yeah, I'll probably see if I have a couple rib nuts and throw some rib nuts in here. Just make sure it sits low enough for when the hood closes. Will be good, but I think right there we should be good. Get that mounted, which shouldn't take too long. Drill 2 holes, get the rib nuts in there, connect all the wires, and then run a couple to the inside of the car for the toggle switches. But I don't think I have to run them. Well, I'd have to run a toggle switch for the light bar. So what I might do, before I just had the fans on one switch, I might run them each individually, because I never had anything hooked up to the third one. So it might be fan 1, fan 2, then light bar. I might change the stickers around, but find a place to mount that on the inside of the car, and we should be good. Move the battery up here for now. Still have to secure it, but that's up there. I'm focused on knocking this out, and then I'll go up under the dash and get started on that. Now I know I could put the battery back in the factory location on the passenger side, But with the intake I have, I'd have to flip that around. The K&N would be upside. And you know what? I don't have to rock a K&N. I got my own stickers. Let me see how that looks real quick. Let me see. Because if that's the case, it should clear that, no problem. Let me see. Nope, puts that too weird of an angle. Won't work. So it's gotta be on this side. So we'll stick to the original plan. Battery over here, fuse box over here. Get all these connected, weld on some studs, and we'll be good. I'm gonna stop talking and knock all of it out. Probably throw you guys back on a time lapse, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I might have messed up earlier on explaining the relay situation on the wiring. Just with the Holley stuff, so just with this red and yellow, or the gray and red and gray and yellow wires. So these need to be ground. The ground switch for the relay, not positive. So I was saying earlier that they would have been the white wire for the trigger wire for 86, which that's not right. So 86 and 87, those both need to be 12 volt sources. So those will both be going to the battery. And then this 85 is supposed to be ground. That is where the two wires from the Holley will go. So what I'm thinking, I was going to try to run 2, 4, and 6 for the two fans and the light, but the way they have this one, everything's grounded together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over and D-pin 3 and 5, and I'll just cap off 1 because I'm not going to run that relay. I'm not sure what style that is. So I'm gonna, it looks like it's all looped from 1 through 6, but 2 is the last one before the ground comes out of here. So what I'm gonna do, just like I said, D-pin 5 and 3, or we don't even have to D-pin it. As long as I could cut the ground from 3 and 5, just cut those, and I'll bend, or I'll take those wires and connect those to the two gray and yellow and gray and red wires. So it'll be connected to 85 instead of 86. If that makes sense. So the black, which is ground, so the 85, it works a little bit easier on the 4 pins, which I could probably just throw a 4 pin in there, but I'll have to cap off the blue one. So really I'll only use 4 of them, and then I'll probably still hook up the light bar later on down the road, just instead of hooking everything up to the toggle switches, I'll just let the computer run the fans. So we'll see how it does once I hook them up right, because I was looking at my old relays, and you kind of see the yellow and gray wire there, and the red and gray wire there. They were spliced into 86, which they were hooked up wrong, so I'm not sure how they were coming on, but that's why anytime I cut them on with the toggle switch, it'll really start cooling the car down. So I think I had them hooked up wrong here. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Like I said, I hooked all this up probably 4 or 5 years ago, or yeah, about 4 years ago. So I'm still learning. But yeah, I won't hook up anything to the 87A, so I'll probably just cap that off. Or not even cap it off. I might just remove the relay itself. I'll still cap off that wire and just throw the 4-pin relay in there. So go over it one last time. So this red is 30. So 30, that's going to go directly to the battery, which on here is just the red ones that are pre-terminated. So or they go to the fuse and then they'll go to the battery. So the red is to the battery, or the 12-volt source. The yellow is 87, and that's going to be going to the fan or the light bar, the positive on there. The blue on the fans I'm not going to use. So the blue, you just disregard the blue wire, which is 87A. The white wire is 86. So with the fans being a ground trigger, 86 and 87 will both be wired to a 12-volt source. So I have to run that to a positive. So what I'm thinking, instead of hooking up to the battery, I'm going to get another junction box or block like I have on the Monty. That's not wanting to play fair. So I'll show you guys here in a second. So it's just a little block coming off of the positive cable for the battery, and you just tie into that, and that's a 12-volt source. So I'll probably put one on this side around here. So the 30 will go directly, no, 30 will go to the junction box once I get that, along with the 86 for the fans only. And then 85 will go to the ground trigger, which is the gray and yellow and gray and red wires. So pretty sure I explained how I'm gonna do that. And then with the light bar, it'll be different. I'll go over that later on, but I'm gonna have to get another just a post. I have one for the negative also. So instead of hooking it directly to the battery, you just run a cable, or a cable off of the battery to the positive, and now to go to that junction box. And then anything I need to run off of here. So the two 86 wires, so the two white wires for the fan, will run to that positive junction box. And then the 85, it'll be grounded to the Terminator X itself. Hopefully I didn't confuse anybody. I watched a couple of videos on it, and that's what I understand how to hook it up. So yeah, let me get back to it, get everything knocked out. Probably grab that junction box tomorrow on my way home, so I can hook the positive up, and then probably get a different toggle switch, just a single one. I could use this one, but probably just get a single one and have it ran inside for the light bar. Alright, so decided to go all out. terminator X is pulled through, everything's pulled through, but I'm gonna put it all back together. I'll probably leave. I might leave the Terminator X under the hood, but we'll see. I know a lot of people just mounted to the wheel wells. I haven't seen too many mounted to the firewall, but I know I need a new AC delete plate. So yeah, that might be on order soon. And then find a gasket or something to go in that area. So yeah, I pulled it out because I thought I was gonna run it in between here and then back through the fender into the kick panel area, but that's not gonna happen. I guess it could, but then I'd have to disconnect all this in here, and yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna keep at it. I'll cut you guys back on once everything's buttoned up and explain what I did. But yeah, it's supposed to be a little project. Clean up some wiring. Nah. Alright, so I didn't get too much stuff done today. It's starting to get late. I still have to work in the morning. Just found out there's a Golden Super Cruise tomorrow, and I sent my buddy a picture like this. With all the wires hanging over the fenders and everything. He's like, "You gonna make it?" And it's like, not unless I can rewire this whole thing tonight, but I think I'm gonna call this one a teardown, and then tomorrow or Sunday, I think I might have my head have everything figured out. I think I have it all figured out now. I just have to put it all back together. So as far as mounting everything, I think I am going to move the ECU up in the engine bay somewhere. Either mount it here or mount it on the AC delete plate. I've seen some people do that. I would like to mount it inside, but I think it's going to live under the engine bay. There's people that have done it, and I've had decent luck with it. I'm not driving through any puddles. I rarely wash the thing. If I do, it's just a quick spray down. Engine bay, same thing. I'm not coming in here with the pressure washer, so I don't have to worry about the ECU getting wet or anything unless I have another accident with the dipstick. But yeah, I might just mount it either on the wheel well or up on the AC delete plate. But yeah, I pulled the whole Terminator X back through, and I think most of this harness and everything, I'm gonna tuck it up under the drip tray. So it's gonna be the main harness, the Slapper Mechanics 1-wire alternator, the fuel pump, or the fuel pump, the hot wire kit, and then the power wire. I'll get that all tucked up under the drip tray. The only thing that's really running back through the firewall is going to be this green wire for the fuel pump. This red and white wire, I think that goes to a 12-volt switch source. And then the hot wire kit. Everything else will be up in the engine bay. This black wire coming off the main harness, that will be grounded to the stud I welded on. This red wire, that'll go directly to the battery, or like I said, that little junction that I was talking about, I might mount that on this side, so that might plug directly into that. This blue wire might get trimmed up, that's for a tack, and I'll just run the one on the touch screen. Obviously these two go to the power wire for the ECU. Those will go directly to the battery, which will be here. The relay box. So I did D-pin 3 and 5. So I D-pinned the ground, or the 85. So I'm gonna repin those, but I'm gonna pin, or I'm gonna wire these up directly to it. So those will go into the slot for the 85, and those will be the switch ground source on there. And then I will throw the 4-pin relays in there. So it'll be the 4-pin instead of the 5-pin. So I don't have to worry about depinning the blue one or the 87A. But I'll still probably cap it off. And then I was thinking, once I hook the positive up, the ones I'm not using, I'll just pull the fuse from, and we should be good there. So I don't have to worry about depinning everything. Just pull the fuse, and no power will be running to any of the live wires, or they won't be live. No power will be running to them. So yeah, that's kind of where I've been trying to get organized and everything. I realized I'm not going to put anything back today. I still need to get some ring terminals, get some terminals for the battery cables. I ripped those out too, so those are all tucked down up under the car. They ran through the fender here and in between the kick panel and everything, but I pulled all those out, so I have to shorten those, find a way to route them. So I'm thinking the positive one, I might, well, how should I do it? I don't know, because I want to kind of avoid the header. So the positive one might run up under the core support, back down towards the starter, and then the ground would obviously be grounded on the other side, and then I'll have the ground here. But yeah, it's just those things. I'm gonna have to order another AC delete plate. I cut that open a little bit more to make it easier to pull that harness through. But it's just, I know it's a long video of me rambling, but trying to get it buttoned up. Like I said, a little disappointed. I didn't realize the first Golden Super Cruise was already. Well, tomorrow. This is going to probably be a couple weeks after that. But yeah, trying to get it all buttoned up. It looks like a lot. It's wiring. I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with it. So it looks like a lot, but it's not a lot. But we'll make it happen. But yeah, I'm going to call it a night on this one. I'll come out probably either tomorrow if I don't go up to the Golden Super Cruise after work. I'll come out and finish this up. If not, I'll do it Sunday and Monday. But I think Ravi is trying to get the Impala over here for some exhaust work. So I'll try to button this up before I get that over here, because I don't want to leave his car outside. I'd rather leave the Elco outside. It's been outside before, so it's no big deal. But yeah, once we figure out when the Impala's coming over, I should have the Elco buttoned up. Do need to get another bottle and the bottle of gas, so we get that welded up and start making some progress. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a night.